Hi there, I'm John Keirstead from Arctic Spas, Vancouver Island, and I wanted to talk to you today about a new product that we've added. Now this product is made by the same manufacturer ownership group as makes the Arctic Spas, so Blue Falls USA, and they have a product that they've been building for many years for the professional sporting treatment of athletes. And cold plunging is one of those things that more and more you're hearing about. But ColdTub, we say it's the original ColdTub because this was the first tub that wasn't just a basin that you could put ice into and the athletes would soak in there. And there was a real problem in the sports teams is you got a whole team of athletes and maybe you got 4 or 5 tubs, but you literally go through tons of ice. And I'm not kidding, tons of ice. And there's sanitary issues there, so they have to empty it quite often, and you don't want the same athletes in the same water and stuff. So many years ago, ColdTub was developed by Arctic Spas, and they developed this based on the principle that we have in our hot tubs as well, which is why we wanted to have managed water, automated water management in this. So these cold tubs are the only one on the market that's fully managed in the same fashion that we manage our hot tubs. In fact, all of our cold tubs are also hot tubs. Every one of these is also a hot tub. There are some differences, of course. The construction of the shell itself is very similar. It's vacuum formed, it's fiberglass backed, or uses a resin backing to make it very strong so that the shell is structurally strong. The insulation method is different. And it does an insulation method that I'm not a real fan of, in that we have to put the foam on the shell and jets and stuff like that, which makes it harder to fix. But they don't generally, cold tubs don't have as many fittings and stuff on them, and it's really important to insulate all of the shell and stuff, because unlike a hot tub, these will actually cause condensation. If it's not insulated properly, you'll get condensation in all of your equipment, so your electronics and your pumps and stuff would be exposed to this condensation, and that would lead to problems. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen, so it's insulated a little bit differently. The other thing is that cold tubs are pretty small, so we can still take all the doors off of this if we have to service it. It's not like a hot tub where you've got like so much area that you have to try and figure out where the problem is. It's pretty easy to isolate on these where a problem might be if one occurred. This model here is, it's called the IcePod Plus. It is a fairly narrow, like it's bathtub width, I guess, or canoe width, right? But it's very tall and deep. And that's important because a lot of the athletes are quite big. If you've noticed, football players and hockey players and all these different athletes are big guys. So they have to be able to sit in here. There's a funny story. In the early days, we tried to get one of the other models that we had, and it was for an athlete that I'm not allowed to name, but he's a really big basketball player and quite famous. Anyway, the one that we made didn't fit him, so we made a different model that was big enough to fit this gigantic guy. And lots of professional athletes own this brand. What makes it, really separates it from what other companies that you'll see, is that it doesn't need ice cubes and stuff like that. And really, you see some companies talking about, well, ours can actually make ice and stuff like that, so you got a gigantic ice maker. What the science says is that generally anything below about 55 degrees, 58 degrees, somewhere around there, is enough of a differential to our normal body temperature that it cools you down with enough ratio to get the health benefits from it. And there's a lot of health benefits from this, and I'm going to do other videos mentioning the benefits of just cold tubbing, but also the contrast therapy between hot and cold. And so in this particular case, this is called the IcePod Plus. This is the same one that I have at home, only mine doesn't have this beautiful cedar. Mine was more for sports teams, so it has a finish that's kind of neutral, and it has like a wrap like you'd put on a car, and it says winning is cool. and winning is cool, right? But a lot of the times the sports teams would put their logo on there, or they'd put their team mascot's picture on there or something, or maybe a message to their fans or whatever. So a lot of the times, or it might be a message to the rest of the players, work harder, right? Something like that. Anyway, mine isn't as pretty as this, but I've been using mine now for several years. Maybe I was before COVID, so quite a while. And I noticed it made a huge difference for me. I like to compete in and teach judo and jiu-jitsu, and those are sports that kind of get beat up and stuff like that, and you feel really sore afterwards. And what I found was this cold tub made a tremendous difference. Now, I also have a sauna, and I also have a swim spa, so I use all three of them in conjunction. But they're becoming really popular because people have been soaking in this cold water to make themselves better. It's, cold tubbing and hot tubbing is very different. Hot tubbing, people think, yay, this is fun, hot tubbing is fun. Most people with cold tubs don't think cold tubbing is fun. It's more like you got the people that go, this is really good for me. This is really good for me, so that's why I'm going to do it. And so you kind of have to get into the right frame of mind to use these. And you want to be able to use the tub, and there's an optimal time frame. So a lot of people ask, well, how long should I stay in this thing? So I tell people, initially, if you can just get in for 30 seconds and then get out, and then maybe if you have a hot tub beside you, jump in the hot tub and kind of get yourself used to the whole idea of doing this. You kind of have to work your way into it. But 2 minutes seems to be the magic number. If you can get to 2 minutes, then getting to 5 minutes is fine. And I think 5 minutes is pretty much one of the optimal amounts of time. You do not need to go in this and become an ice cube yourself. In fact, there's some risks. If you cool your body off too much, it might not be good for you. So, obviously do your research, consult a physician if you have any health conditions or anything like that. But trust me, this cold tubbing is amazing. And so one of the things I really noticed is like for brain fogs and things like this where you just kind of want to get fresh for your day. A lot of people find that the cold tub is a great refresher after a big night out. Maybe they've been drinking, or maybe they've been up too late or something like that. When you go in here, it really does some things to your physiology. So what happens when you jump in a cold tub? What happens? Well, what happens is that your body at first is experiencing shock. And so when your body goes into shock, it goes into fight or flight. And we actually don't want that. Well, it will still have benefits of the cold. It's not as good as if you can relax and work yourself into this almost in a meditative state or a yoga type state. You can get in here. And if you can calmly go into the water, then it doesn't create the stress response like fight or flight would cause, which is different hormones and stuff going around in cortisol and all that stuff. So from a health, I'm not getting into the health stuff of it, but there is a bunch of benefits from there. If you go from hot to cold is what we call contrast therapy, right? When you go from hot to cold, there's a movement of the blood. So when I go into the cold, what happens is the blood that's just running around in all of my blood vessels and all of the different veins and arteries, it's rolling around in there, and it's like there's a whole bunch of plumbing, right? When you go into cold, it reduces the amount of plumbing. So it concentrates on keeping all of the blood, because they want to keep your brain, your heart, your internal organs. It wants all that stuff to keep working if you're in a super cold environment, so you can keep thinking and stuff. When you go into hot, it's the exact opposite. It's like someone opened all the valves. Everything opens up and the blood goes. And that's why, if you ever notice when you sit in like hot water for a while, or you sit in a sauna for a while, you get flush and kind of pink cheeks and red face, and skin starts, because it's opened up all of the blood vessels, and the blood gets to go all around your whole body. And there's a number of reasons why this is good. A couple of the reasons is that a lot of us don't bathe. We don't soak in hot water, or we don't sit in a sauna. And so we have like capillaries and stuff that we've never opened up very much, because we've never put ourselves in an environment where it'd have to expand like that, so that we can cool off. That's why your body's doing that. And your circulation goes up, starts pumping faster, because you don't want all of your veins and stuff collapsing, so it has to speed it faster, so the stuff is traveling through your body faster. Your heart rate's pumping it faster. When you go cold, it's the exact opposite. Closes all of this down, your heart rate slows, and you have less of this plumbing. When you go from all of the blood vessels open to the least amount of blood vessels open, what happens is the blood's transferring through all of these membranes, and it allows the movement of nutrients. It also allows the flushing of toxins, right? So it gets nutrients to areas where you wouldn't normally have nutrients, so it can help, people that have circulation issues, they often have other issues and stuff associated with those circulation issues. So by sitting in the hot and getting that hot water and blood moving around, you can get these toxins out. And it doesn't take long. If something stops working, if your kidneys stop working and you have issues, you can get very sick very fast because these toxins build up in your body. Well, the skin is known as the third kidney, right? So it's able to get rid of a lot of these toxins from your body, and this is one of the best ways to do it. You can sit in a sauna, get really hot, sweaty, and then go into cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. You do that 2 or 3 times in the morning after a big night out, you feel like $1 million. And I have living proof of that. But also if I've had a really hard workout, being able to go to the hot and cold allows me to just feel better the next day. It gets the lactic acids out of your muscles and stuff. Athletes, the reason why they use this cold so much, it's really just about them being able to recover and be ready for the next game, right? They need to be able to recover and get ready for the next game. So it reduces inflammation. There's an endorphin hit that you get, which just makes you feel really good. And actually, that's the thing that'll eventually motivate you. If you can get over the original, oh boy, that's really, really, really cold, right? Well, it takes a while, but after a while, you start to realize that when I go from that cold and then I jump into the hot and I feel pins and needles on my body everywhere, and it's just like, as those pins and needles come out, I just feel good. I just feel so good. I feel happy. I also feel like, wow, I stayed in for 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever it is, right? Don't get into this thing where I have to stay in for a very long time. And don't be afraid to use different temperatures. It's interesting. Different people don't need to bring it down as much, the temperature down as much. So if you're a 58, temperature works perfectly, gives you all the physical responses that are good for your health, then use 58. It's not a contest. I can go into freezing water, right? But you do get better at it. I just recently with my judo club, we went and did and on Vancouver Island here, there's a lot of people that do these plunges. So in the lake that I live on, Shawnigan Lake, they have a polar plunge on New Year's Day. Lots of other groups and stuff do these polar plunges in the middle of winter, and that water is really, really cold. And there's other really brave, if you YouTube and stuff, you see they take a chainsaw and they cut a hole in the ice and they jump in that water. And we're talking really cold water. All of this has been done for centuries. Like, people have been doing this sort of thing for centuries, and it is great for your health. It's great for your spirit. And I really believe it's the technology for these things to make them operate in automated water maintenance. I haven't actually drained and filled mine for almost three years, maybe 4 years, because it has the same spa boy system that they call it ColdTub PAL. It's the same automated salt water chlorine generation system that's in here. So there's virtually no smell, no scent, no dryness on your skin. The water feels and looks and smells perfect. So it's really good. And you can see, just like on the Arctic spas, there's a salt cell there. There's the probe for measuring the water and making sure that it's maintained. Just really a great system that's automated, so that you don't have to worry about, do I have to buy ice? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? You don't have to worry about it. Now here is the last thing. Some of you might go, I'd really like to get one of these. My husband doesn't really think that we're going to use it, right? I'm an athlete, and I run triathlons, and I want to do that. I don't actually do triathlons. That's why I took judo, so I don't have to run, right? But realistically, if you're a weekend warrior, or you're one of those people that has a sport that you do for a few months and stuff like that, here's what you can say to the partner that says, we're not going to use this enough. Let's use it for my training, right? I'll use the cold tub while we're training, and when you're not using it as a cold tub, turn it up and make it a hot tub. Right? You can make it a hot tub as well. And so it's a small hot tub, but how many people do you need to bathe with? That's really from a from a perspective of relaxing. In fact, they got a model of this that we just put in our Victoria store that's basically the same thing, only it's twice as long. So there's a on that end and on this end. So it's like a big long canoe sort of thing, and to call it the icebreaker. I think it's going to be fantastic, but that'd be a great hot tub too. So I actually use the residential version of the ColdTub, which we call the ColdTub. This residential one, this one here is not got the same automated ColdTub PAL in it. It can get it. You can add it to any of the ColdTub products. We're using an aftermarket salt system in here and ozone. Both have ozone, actually, just like in our spas. But I decided that we had people that they wanted a really smaller footprint, and they had to be able to get it in through their house. And none of our spas, even our smallest spa, wouldn't get where they wanted. Well, what's nice is that this one actually is 30 inches. It'll actually go through a door, and it's quite big. Like, you can easily put 2 people in here if you want. And so I'm telling people nowadays, instead of getting a jetted bathtub in your house, build a bathroom, a true bathroom, right? And have this just plug in, have a drain in your tiled room, and have your shower right there. And then you can use this, and it's always ready for you, hot or cold, right? So I think this is a really, really great product. You know, we build them to last as long as you'll own your home. But what's nice about it is, unlike a jetted bathtub, I don't know if you've ever fixed a jetted bathtub. I've tried a few times, and it's next to impossible because they build it into your house without thinking, oh, one day someone might actually have to fix this thing. And it's like, you can't get to it. Google it if you don't believe me. This is nice because if for some reason it failed over time, you can always take it out. We can take it back to the shop and we can fix it and bring it back, right? But in most cases, like all of our other products, all these panels and stuff come off. So it's relatively easy for us to be able to repair anything over time. So if you have this for a really long time, it will still be able to be used, right? So that's the ColdTub story. That we've got bigger ones and stuff. So if you're on a sports team and you're interested, we are capable of providing larger versions of this sort of stuff for people. But these are our residential models that now we're finding lots of people want to have a sauna, they want to have a cold tub, and they want to have a hot tub. So what we want to be for you is your wellness center. So you come to us and we'll give you the tools to be able to try this. And you'll notice in our showroom here, and this one's actually in North Vancouver. This is our newest store on the North Shore, and we have all of these here for you to try and use, so you can see if this is how you'd like your backyard to be as well. I'm John Keirstead for Arctic Spas. Thanks for exploring cold tubs with us.